So hopefully you will have by now found the folders for our recording sessions, which are these zip files. They're on the internet on my FTP site, and you will have right-clicked on these zip files and extracted them to real files and folders. And what we're going to do very quickly now is look at how to edit, trim, fade in, fade out in a variety of different software. So first of all, I'll take the group I started with first, and I want to just listen through to the sounds that we recorded. So I should be able to simply double click on the Cubase file and wait for it to launch Cubase and pick some files that I think are going to be interesting and useful. The audio files will have been stored in the audio files folder, and they are very badly labeled audio 1020304050607. So I need to know what's in each of these files, and I use the time-honored traditional style of pen and paper to write down that in audio file 0101 I've got some trombone. It wasn't a great recording in that session, so in number 2 I've got some more trombone sounds. So quite a full range sound here, and I've got some shorter sounds here. I use the G key to zoom out, I use the H key to zoom in. I use the mouse on the timeline bottom half to position where I want to play from. It's really important to have a look at File, Preferences, Transport, and check Return Start Position on Stop. That's really useful because that means you can audition and audition and audition. If you like a certain sound, there's certain ways you can edit in Cubase, but for now I'm just going to listen to different sounds that I've got. So I know I want something from audio 102, and having a listen to this, more trombone, some scraping here in audio 105. I've got some water pouring, so I've got some, I want to extract a tiny trombone sound and some water pouring. The tiny trombone sound will come from audio 102, and the water sound will come from audio 105. So I close and quit Cubase, and now I can have a look at these files in a variety of different programs. I'm going to use Audacity and Adobe Audition. If you load Audacity, you can just drag and drop, and it's the same thing. You push the mouse where you want to play from, and the zoom key is up here. And when you have selected the file that you want, and that's a very rough selection, you go File, Export Selected Audio. You need to find the right folder. So I'll go to Teaching mus122. And I'll put it in this folder at the top level, and this time I'll call it T-Bone Bit. And I'll just check that I'm working with, in this case, WAV 16-bit PCM, or I can select Options and use WAV signed 24-bit PCM. save. So that will appear just there, T-bone bit, outside of the audio files folder. And I've not done anything to alter the original file, so I've not cut from there at all. You could also do your editing in Adobe Audition, which I think is a lot better than Audacity, but it costs the university a lot of money to have this software, so I don't see why we shouldn't use it. So I go back to my audio files folder. I'm going to try and find the water now. So I drag and drop. You'll note that actually you get a little secondary file made. This is a picture of the waveform so that Audacity can scroll through the waveform quite quickly. That is not an audio file. So the water is here. And I'm just going to take a textural passage of this water. Again, I want to zoom in, and that's down here. You may always have to check in preferences, you may always have to check your audio hardware and make sure that you are using ASIO and you'll need the Yamaha ASIO driver. I've probably made this a lot worse now, but never mind. Okay, it still runs. Good. So I'm just going to select some audio here, and I'm going to copy to a new file and then save. I can save or save as. Make sure that this is going in the right folder. Not quite. I just wanted to go up in the same level as the trombone bit. I can name it here, water bit, save, and check 44.1 24-bit and save. So hopefully now I have water bit and T-bone bit. They're not quite finished because now I need to just trim these to make sure that they are they start from a 0 position. I can delete that little bit. In fact, I'll start from that initial drip there, zoom right in, and go favorites, fade in, zoom right out, and I'll just put quite an aggressive fade out at the end, zoom, fade out, and Control S to save. I'll do the same with the trombone bit. Delete that, put a tiny fade in here, and a fade out here. You might find that some samples need to be denoised, but if we've got good recordings, that you may not need to do this. And then if you have something like the water file, you have a bunch of different effects, such as filtering, flanging, phasing, reverbs, and time stretching and pitch shifting that you can apply to the whole of these files. Let's say I wanted, this is just as a final special effect, you may have heard about convolution reverbs. Convolution reverbs take a spectral impulse of an acoustic and put the entirety of another sound file through that spectral map, giving you the impression of the sound being played in a different space. And normally, if we ran a reverb and a convolution reverb, we have, let's say, a hall. I can apply the hall reverb. and it's quite a substantial change. But let's say I wanted to play this sound through a hall that sounded like the little trombone bit. I can actually take my reverb, convolution reverb, but load in my trombone bit as my reverb, and now save that as water bit convolve with T-bone. So thinking about the pitch of the trombone bit, and then an extension, a kind of bubbly trombone. Notice you've lost a lot of high frequencies here, but what you have done is generated a texture with the imprint of the pitch from the tiny little bit of trombone acoustic, which is kind of interesting. So what you'll need to do is listen to all the sounds that you've recorded from your group and from others, select sounds that you like, find them in a program like Audition or Audacity, and then extract them, trim them, and maybe apply some effects on those sounds using Save As, and then import them back into Cubase.